It's a fire in the hole. It's a fire in the hole.
Passive from Infamous with that scarf, ramming to late game and Fox being quite late game as well. Creation's going very low in lane. Lovely message from Catherine. Ace Creation will fall to Spaghetti. First blood going over to him. Good stun from SNK there.
Farm a lot and just waiting for the late game for the power spikes to happen. We actually do see Ace Creation. Oh, and afterburn.
A level 5 infusion pop by Creation there. The quickest infusion I've ever seen someone by, 4 minutes 30. And they Queasy is basically going to die. He's going to fall to the glimmer shot. No need for vision. SNK is going to try and run away. Creation going down to shot, 4 minutes 50. Pocketing his ID, who's not worth dying to get the turret. That's going to take it down to a sliver of health and just back off. So Infamous needs to be so careful of leaving. And that's going to be SNK falling pretty much. Fountain's not going to save his life. Great afterburn from Skoga on the glaive and that headshot, but it's not even that much. And that's a block on the first bar. Mechanical on the second one, but he's going to stun her out of it. Oh, Ace Gaming doing so much work. Guess he's going to boost in, try and get Spaghetti, but does not have a glimmer shot up. Queasy going to take 600 burst on that first glimmer shot. Skosa deciding that he can do it, and there's a strap there. Spaghetti doesn't know there is no one shot to connect into it. Creation just backing off. Going to try and get some potent damage with glimmer shots. Skosa's quite low. If he afterburns in, probably full. There's the wait for it. There's the afterburn in. It's going to be blocked actually, so he's going to walk out of the active camo. Not going to get stunned by that for a little bit. Still going to do damage, but again, Creation just going to focus on turrets. That's all they're doing. There's the first blast coming, going to be blocked up. Skosa has got the afterburn available. SNK is going to wait for that before he can take the blast tremor, but it's not going to be stunned out this time. Kestrel is silent, so that'll be still Batiste picking up the kill onto Scarf. Fox is going to try and do what he can, getting the focus onto the glaive, but this is just Kestrel on the back line. This is Spaghetti probably going to fall. Basic attacks are enough, no need for glimmer shots. That is game one going over to Ace Creation. Such fantastic plays from them.
It is brother. Celeste will have an amazing zoning.
From Lance, landing onto Kestrel. Kestrel's going to boost away, but going to get stunned up by the gauntlet. Lance cannot go from Creation's going to dive onto Celeste in the backline. Celeste going to boost away. It's just using that Shiver Strike, trying to get down. Spaghetti is back to full health. Bouncing was popped by Arden to keep himself alive. Creation is again full health. That was 2 bounces used, so both teams backing off. Tesseract did get caught out there, but had the boots to run away, and now Creation are going to go for the gold mine. It will be squatted out. Solar Storm a little bit early. He's going to get mid on it. Lance is good at stealing gold mine. He pushed it away, and he just will secure that gold mine. He's stealing a healing cap away. So that's going to try and farm on the turret. SNK taking a lot of poke, almost falling to the Tessa. On shot, on Spaghetti, not quite picking up the kill. That could fallback place that Infamous are going to have to do. Ace do know they've spotted Arden. They know Celeste isn't there, so they're just going to take Backs and Sentry. They can't get turret, just get something else. That's another thing that's more than worth it for Ace. It just wants the Backs on one. The Solar Storm going to collect onto Scotia.
Anyways, it is really good play, and it was really good team fight execution coming out from the side of Ace Gaming. They are going in again.
Going in, it's just that Shimmer Strike onto Celeste, and that's going to be Celeste's falling destination, and he's going to get another one. One shot, one kill, picking up SNK. Lance running towards the base, it will be enough. He gets the healing, maybe not. What a glimmer shot from Kestrel. And again, Ace Creation pushing this turret. Who needs minions? You've got a Liver, Imperial Sigil. That'll be the next turret falling, and Ace is going to back off. Probably can set up a gank. Crit, was it? Tessa on that Kestrel, sneaking around the backside. And going to get spouted up by a flare, but he's still going to be able to push these turrets, and that is a full health Kraken with only one Vainglory turret left. Creation is by the base. He's going to get as much damage onto the turret as he can. Okay, so one shot is getting basically killing her Celeste there, but it's not going to do enough. That's going to be Kestrel stealthing away, so going to go try and spot him out, but it won't be enough. Basic attacks won't do it. Your Crystal Kestrel wait for your glimmer shots, but the base's fallen. Idris does get a kill onto Arden, and that will be another kill onto the Lance. Idris wants the triple. Kestrel's not going to let him out get it. Idris will secure a triple, and the main will fall. Ace Creation take this second game against Infamous.
With that of Baron, and also Samuel's early game is just so much stronger as compared to that of Celeste.
Yeah, there's going to be call caps from Celeste onto Soska. This is going to pick up that first blood. For Infamous, they were the first game, they got the first off with a good lane gang. Now Creation can actually push the wave quite effectively as well. And now it's really pushing the lane up again. Now it's drifted up from Samuel. Jumped it straight in. Getting it out of position. Trying to be far too aggressive in this early game. Samuel Bauer jumped it away this time and planned to smart. Keep himself alive. Get towards late game where you're going to do a lot of damage on his banner. That's the Ordained. And the core collapse. Lovely crept up the sun. From Infamous. So much damage from Quincy on this Celeste. Then he's jumped in, trying to get kills with Skota. That will be moved away. Skota's just going to survive unless it gets stopped.
Oh, they are. Ace Gaming.
The best situation dark. Samuel looks like he actually wants to get kills instead of turret most of this game. That last burner hasn't got a block to get stuff like talking about. And the Solar Storm has so much damage. Now he's getting a kill on the Samuel. They have to run away. We do this call count after 5 seconds. He's going to back off, get a nice shot from a little bit of post. And he's going to try and return and push some damage onto this turret. Celeste is really good at poking turrets down, so is Baron. Creation's to do what he can, get Imperial Sigil up to full health, but doesn't want to dive in yet. He knows there's a stun on Beastie and an Ordained on SNK, so Creation can't dive in yet. That's the Ordained, and that's Creation going to go low. Jump yet, and the certain. Well, Shimmer Strike. What is done there? That's so fantastic. Creation getting an ace for Ace Gaming. Shimmer Strike out of this core collapse from Celeste, getting the kill. Doing basic stats to secure Baron, and then just finishing off Matisse. Creation is a monster.
Collapse with your Shimmer Strike 4.
And then to get a triple kill, but that'll be another tower going down. Infamous forces home, and they were spotted out by a flare. That's the Ordained going to land onto the team. He's going to try and boot away. Lots of damage onto Ghost, but not the target. They want Creation to get that barrier. Going to try and flick on Spaghetti, but he's going to actually Shimmer Strike inside of SNK, and that is actually left picked up by Samuel. He's just getting in the kill in lane here, and that's another ace for Ace Gaming. They're just going for kills this game. They don't need objectives. They can get objectives once they get aces. Samuel great against Celeste, especially with Celeste only at level 7. Can also get the turret. Go for Greasy. Isn't going to try and poke the turret down. That's the use the live right forward, and getting jumped away, but the bounce is going to say this live. Greasy's going to try and poke out. Lara's going to get so much damage. So Lara's going to help secure the kill off Matisse there. He's out of position. Matisse hasn't got much disengaged. Bossman on Greasy going to try and stop Tessa, but there's no block on Greasy available. That Ordained is not the Ordained. The Sleep loading just outside of range to steal the goal line. And Creation's going to get spotted out. He's going to get bursted down. Ordained's actually going to stand him up. Core Claps won't quite do it. That'll be the Oblivion landing. And the Solar Storm not going to catch anyone. And Tessa is out of his Drifting Dark, but doing a lot of damage. Baron's trying to run away. That Iron Cannon going to land on Tessa. Queesy's going to do a lot of damage, and that'll be the kill. Going over to Celeste, but Sammy's going to trade his life for that one. SNK's almost going to fall. The Imperial Sigil's not quite enough. SNK almost on no health. Needs to get that Bamboja to get a little bit of sustain. And he's just going to try and turn around. The Imperial Sigil again leaves him on a sliver of health. He's got a Bamboja for sustain. And Skosa's not going to get this Bamboja. He's pushing the turret. And again, SNK. What a play! To get a minion candy on that sentry and fight around it because they strip him quickly. And he's coming to the backside. He's trying to pull home and quick SNK is going to not be in the right position. That's Baron trying to run away. We see is so long on. Fist Chain will not be blocked. Crucible is a bit early. SNK is going to try and run. I doubt he'll be able to survive with the health this time. He's going to try and run quite far. He's going to get the shot, but they're not going to be able to do anything. Just shot from Samuel, and that will be the kill. Going over to the Samuel, and this will be another goal mine for Ace. That was a good rotation, but then they hid, took the backs from Infamous, hid around there, rotated up where
Baron is jumping in with jump jets.
Yeah, Infamous know that they want to fight. They don't want to fight, they want to try and steal this backing away. That is going to be getting forward, increasing the line up on the total storm. Kraken is going to go low. That's not the person you want to take low. You want to take the carry low. They took Lyra down, but that's not who you want to do. Kill for Idris. Not great focus for Infamous. They went for the Lyra. They didn't go for Idris. They didn't go for Samuel. That's Ace for Ace Gaming. And they're going to just push the two turrets. Who needs a Kraken if you could just push turrets? Baron is up in 9 seconds. They'll get the first turret and they'll go in. Yes, they are. Pushing it up from Samuel. Kraken's going to do as much damage as he can onto the turret. Baron is being forwarded. Jump gets in. And that's going to be a lot of damage onto Tessa. Tessa's always going to fall. He probably will fall. One base attack. On the vein. Four claps. Not going to land. Grayson's going to get the vein. Third game for Ace Gaming. They take the series 3-0.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tesseract Esports Halcyon Showdown. In this glorious day, or rather today, we are actually going to see Detonation Gaming going up against Impunity. For all the viewers that do not know, Detonation Gaming is a pro team reigning from that of Japan, and of course, Impunity from Southeast Asia. We all know Southeast Asia, or rather Impunity, is one of the top teams and currently seated second in Vainglory 8. And of course, today, casting alongside me, we have the 50% Japanese, the one and only, I request a duo.
ありがとう、ラクシュラ。今日はようこそ皆さん。今日はテスラクトのハルシオンショーダウンエクシビションマッチ、インピュニティとデトネーションゲーミングはいい試合ね。I hope it's going to be a good match and good luck to the teams. ごめんね、私の日本語はまだ上手じゃないけど。I hope everyone has good luck.
Okay, so honestly, I don't know when to come back in because that's in Japanese and I do not understand Japanese. But I think that was an awesome introduction in Japanese, so give it up for Alex. Okay, anyways, just a quick run through of the roster from the side of Impunity. We have Blue City, Quarterfall, and DevQ playing today. And of course, the side of Detonation Gaming, we have Vivi Keys, Tatsuki, and Vivi Royale.
Yes, and on the players to watch for those two teams, at least on the side of Detonation Gaming, is going to be Tatsuki 217. And his most played, Samuel, Celeste, and Taka. So some predicted picks there for the side of Detonation Gaming. And whether these two teams have done their research, we might see some targeted bans going into this one. But today we are playing on the live server, so I believe it will be one ban per team. And would you like to...
Anyways, just a quick correction. Like, not even a correction, just a quick let people know we are actually going through with double bans as well. Although we are playing, like I requested duo said, we are playing on the live servers, but we are going through with the double ban. Anyways, for the side of Impunity, the player to watch is the one and only DevQ. Like I requested duo said earlier on, they might have done the research, but just a quick let note to all the viewers out there. The most played heroes for DevQ would be that Black Feather, Castrol, and of course that of Vox, which is commonly seen in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, and with that, just reminding the people here joining us today that this is just a friendly show match, and it's great to see teams across regions being able to play, giving these opportunities for East Asia and SEA to go head-to-head in just a friendly show match.
Yeah, I mean, even before the game starts, even before draft starts, right, before we take the viewers into draft, and of course the players as well. Honestly, tell me, I request a draw. Which team are you rooting for?
Well, if I had to be honest, you know, it's got to be Detonation Gaming. It's in my blood. I have to cheer for the Japanese team there. I have casted so many matches that Impunity have played with, and, you know, I have a lot of respect to them as a team. But for today, I'm going to go for Detonation Gaming.
Well, then, of course, I must support Southeast Asia's team. And, of course, they are from Singapore as well, which is from where I'm from. So I will have to go for the side of Impunity. And as you said, I haven't followed quite a lot of EA streamers or even EA games in general. But honestly, I'm sure Detonation Gaming will play well, and they're one of the top seeded teams as well. But as for Impunity, they are seeded second, which I said and went on earlier on about. But, you know, although the player to watch today is DevQ, but then again, all eyes should be on Quarterfall and how he actually shout calls and pull his teams through a lot of the fights that we'll be seeing later on today.
And with that, these teams are soon going to go into draft, and we talked about, you know, the fact that we might see some targeted bans here. Otherwise, it'll be interesting to see whether we get a bit of that EA mentality in terms of bans and see something a bit different come out. But with that, I believe the draft is ready. So without further ado, let's go into the draft.
The draft begins.
So jumping in the draft today, what do you think we should expect? Like you did mention earlier on that, target bans may be coming out. The side of DNG is really taking their time through this first ban as well. They are eating into their bonus time. So I'm sure targeted bans will be coming out. But then, of course, there are also meta picks that should be prioritized overall, like that of Baron and even Grace. We do see a first ban Catherine. What do you think will come out from the side of Impunity? Would they ban the Baron, or would they even ban just Samuel, just removing Samuel from Tatuki 217?
Oh, yes, it may be one of those targeted. However, if we're looking at more of a generalization of SEA bans that we've seen recently, it would have to be that Grace that just came through.
Well, yeah, I mean, we do see a Grace being banned. Now, Grace has been so strong in this current meta, or rather in patch 2.6. If used well, you can be really very aggressive in the early game, and you skill really well into the late game, especially after you pick up an Echo. Even some teams we've seen during Vainglory 8, there was no Echo pickup, but then Grace was still played astoundingly well. And as we do see a Lara from the side of the NG Gaming, banning out that Catherine, it's really good for Lara to just roam around. The side of Impunity, they might just settle for that Arden just so to not reveal the team comp too much. I mean, Arden is quite a valuable pickup right now. If not, then if they're not going for the target ban, then Batiste worked very well into Tatuki's heroes as well.
And we see that Kestrel pickup coming out on the side of Impunity as their first pickup. How do you feel about that one? Because we haven't seen much Kestrel, especially in that first slot.
Well, it's true that we haven't seen a lot, but Castro is such a good pick. It's kind of flex pick. You can play Castro in the lane as the weapon laner. And we did say earlier on that DevQ is quite known for his Castro as well. And so if we do see DevQ on this Castro, then we might be in for a rather fast game. If not, then if Detonation Gaming has got answer to this Castro, then of course it will be an even game.
And with that, there's going to be the Celeste lockout, one of Tuki's known mains. So that's a sort of targeted ban there, I'd imagine, unless they don't want going into their comp. But it looks more like it would be on the side of a targeted ban in this situation. So how do you think that the side of Damnation might respond to this?
Honestly, it's either they remove one of, like you said, I personally do not think that Celeste is a close to a target ban, but it's more like it's a meta banner because Celeste is just a pain to deal with in a later game. In fact, even in the early game with, the Holy Nova, the explosive damage from Holy Nova, it's quite hard to deal with as well. Probably the side of DNG, they might respond with, say, another laner ban just to restrict, they are going for the Lance ban, which is not commonly seen at all.
Yeah, that is interesting. I guess they're just limiting the amount of roamers and kind of pushing the side of Impunity more onto this Arden. I know that you can still have the versatile Glaive pickup, even the Fortress and Finn is still around, but definitely when we look at the more current meta roamers, it would be that Arden pickup that they've just forced them into. So whether this is playing into the hands of Detonation Gaming, we're going to have to see. Because right now they have so many options. That Baron is still on the table, which we know has been so strong. I'm not too sure in terms of what their carry plays on the side of Damnation Gaming, but I would still imagine an EA Baron would have to be a good pick. But they go for the Samuel, most likely for Tatuki in that jungle.
Well, yeah, there is one thing of forcing. Oh, so the side of Detonation Gaming will close out with the Samuel pickup and of course that Idris. So even if Impunity do pick up that Baron for themselves and put the Castrol in the jungle, they will have a hard time after all. Idris just does so well into Baron after Idris unlocks his divergent path. So there is one thing to consider as well. It's quite clever at the start, it is not for sure. It is not for sure that Castro will go for the weapon path, because usually in traditional sense, Castro do pick up double weapon blade just to help with that clear speed. Or the side of Impunity is doing a hard engage, or rather hard invade, just in the early game. The side of VV Keys may be looking.
Yeah, they're just engaging in the jungle there, but it looks like Lyra going to fall early. Glaive able to pick up that kill, I believe, to the minions, perhaps, because they wasn't really near Lyra at that point. But it doesn't look like Samuel and Idris are going to back down on this one. Not quite able to steal with them. They need to be careful of the damage coming out from the side of Impunity here. They do have that Kestrel, and obviously Glaive ready and waiting for another afterburn, but they're going to back off from that initial fight.
Well, they are going to back off after picking up the first blood on the side of DNG, because honestly, the first blood do not quite mean much at the end of the day, because granted, it is 300 gold to whoever that picked you up, but at the end of the day, it's really just down to the later part of the game when team fights matter more, and when objectives really later part of the game, it's when objectives kind of do not quite matter, because for every team fight that you win in the later part of the game, as when the death timer becomes longer, then of course you can secure objectives for yourself. We do see all three members of Impunity in lane, and VV is caught out another time.
And it looks like they're going to go down to a clean shot coming out by Kestrel, and meanwhile it's going to be that Idris having to back off there actually from the Glaive, which is now in lane. And as you said earlier, judging from the item builds, we can see that that's probably where they're going to stay for this match.
Well, they are going. I mean, Castro has picked up another crystal bit, and of course, honestly, Pot of War. It's not, because we know that both EA and Southeast Asia, yeah. Firstly, our matters are really, really different. It differs largely, and we did see Infamous going up against that of what is that other team? Ace Gaming, right? And Infamous struggled with their very aggressive meta. But in this case, with Impunity going up against DNG, Impunity looks like they are very comfortable with the current meta as well, or rather with their meta as well, with VP getting caught out by several afterburns, a couple of afterburns from that of Death Q on Glaive. So I guess it's a good start for the side of Impunity, and just up to Impunity and whether or not Impunity can.
Lurking around, going invisible when in the engage coming out from Glaive with that afterburn, and they're able to pick up another kill. These afterburns just being so crucial for the side of Impunity, and it's really what they need to get ahead in this early game.
Well, yeah, I mean, Death Q, it's definitely the player to watch. Judging and just judging from how he's playing and how he's landing all of those early afterburns. Honestly, although he is just a Glaive, and a lot of times we say Glaive has got
Solo does get taken over with the trade kill. Arden's looking for some kind of response, and we can see Glaive lurking his way down. They might be able to catch out another person again. He goes in with Afterburn, hits him up against the wall, but then the Drifting Dark Bear gonna turn around and try fight this one off. There's the Gauntlet to try keep Glaive alive, and they're trying to stick onto the Samuel, but there's no way they can do it right now, and they have to back out. It doesn't look, I was gonna say, it doesn't look like Kestrel's nearby, but it shows how sneaky Kestrel is, as they ended up in the fight, and Arden able to pick up that kill on Lyra once again. So you've got to wonder that they keep getting caught out here, and I think more so they're getting punished for being in the jungle of Impunity, and you can see Impunity holding really strong so far into the game.
Definitely. I mean, we do see Impunity coming into this game really, really strong. Just picking up 4 early kills just 4 minutes in. So honestly, if you think about it, overall the gameplay wise, we will think that there is a Lyra, there is access to Bright Bulwark, and you would think that Keys on that Lyra would do so well into the team of Impunity just because of the Bright Bulwark on Lyra, but that's really just not the case, because Royal on that Idris is just so weak, or rather weaker as compared to a Glaive in the early game. So it is just down to how it plays out in a later part of the game. We do see a lot of times as well that the side of Impunity is constantly rotating up to lane just for that gang, just to help and assist Glaive in that gank, whereas Tatuki, ooh, and another burn in.
And there's going to be the Ordained coming down, and they're going... Oh, no, Ordained, that's Baptiste, my bad. But Lyra going to be able to pick up the trade kill. Glaive actually getting caught out there, and Kestrel doing what they can to hold them off. They're able to clear out the minions for now, but you can see Samuel trying to get around the backside. Might even look for some farm to steal away this time. As we've seen, Detonation Gaming trying to play aggressive when they get any form of advantage, but right now, Kestrel is going to be invisible, has to back off from that Drifting Dark, but there's going to be the Empowered Malice and Verdict, and Glaive going to jump in with Afterburn, almost catching them out, but there's going to be the Fountain to save them.
Well, yeah, like I was about to say earlier on before that fight broke out, was that Tatuki, we haven't quite seen Tatuki up in lane till now, and when he does come up, he do manage to assist his team on picking up the second kill of the game itself. Whereas on the side of Impunity, we do see Blue City rotating up, constantly rotating up after every wave, after every jungle wave clear that Blue City does, and we do see now Blue City is going up to lane once more just to assist the side of Impunity with picking up those early game kills, probably translating them into say an objective like a turret or even the half-filled gold mine at this point in time.
Yeah, well, I think at this point, the teams are both playing it fairly evenly. Of course, a few more kills going over to the side of Impunity at the start of the game, and you can see them applying the pressure here, but Detonation ready to respond with that. There's the Drifting Dark and Empowered Malice and Verdicts coming out there, but they don't see the Kestrel hiding in the bush. He lands a few good shots, but it's not going to be enough as Idris jumps in there and is able to pick up one kill. Glaive looking for a target with Afterburn, but actually using it defensively might not find that one, and it's up to them to now be on the defense, a man down. I don't know how well they're going to be able to push this one, though.
I'm pretty sure that turret will be going down very, very fast. And Quad Voice second low might be taken down by Tatuki, but the second turret do save his behind. You know, we do see, although the side of Impunity, they were really very aggressive in the early game, picking up 3 early game kills. Problem is that they cannot translate it. They cannot bring those kills into any objectives. They do that. They do have that early game kill lead, but after Tatuki getting his first Frostburn, his first tier 3 crystal item, Tatuki is going up into lane so much more often, just to pair up, just to make sure that the side of Impunity is pushed back and eventually taking the first turret for the side of Impunity. So honestly, I think it's down to macro and how you organize and how you structure your rotation. If you are going up into lane, then honestly, it's either you bring down a kill, which the side of Impunity is doing very, very well in the early part of the game. But now when Tatuki is up in lane, oh, okay, so Arden's Gauntlet is dropped right now, and Keys was taken down really, really low, but no kills picked up for the side of Impunity just yet. The side of DNG, both fountains are popped. DNG is looking for more, but could they find it? No, they are just going to retract back to lane just to farm up and probably push this turret and just applying pressure in lane. We see a lot of times EA is just so good at doing that, just applying countless pressure and just putting on so much pressure in lane. DefQ will be caught out by the scout trap coming out from the side. Oh, Blue City is taken low.
Tanuki going in with that Drifting Dark. He is able to pick up that kill. Great play-by-play there, Luxura. Thank you for that. We're just having a bit of technical difficulties, but we're back in and ready, and so are DNG on this turret. Looks like Glaive's going to be the target with the Shroud Step, and they managed to get the kill. And they're looking for more with that... with the Chakram coming out from BB Royale, but look at the one shot, one kill going on to Tuki. Game them very low. They have no defense on that Samuel, but they're just able to back in time before they get him in the face with one of those glimmer shots. So a good defense from Impunity there to make sure they didn't get more than they could chew, but you can see already Detonation Gaming a bit ahead with those 2 turrets in the lead, as well as looking over at the gold lead now. We're seeing about 4k ahead with 23.1k on the side of Detonation and 19.4 to the side of Impunity.
Well, yeah, and the side of Impunity, they've picked up really early infusion as well. Castro picking up that just picked up the level 8 infusion, and of course, DevQ's infusion level 6 is wearing off. He is now level 8, and yet they are not making full use of it. I mean, a lot of times the side, although they do get keys really low, keys on that Lara really low, but what happened then is that the retaliation from Detonation Gaming is just so much. The amount of damage and amount of poke coming up from Detonation Gaming is just so much more. Granted, both of these teams, they have a rather balanced and similar team comp.
And it looks like VV Quiz might get caught out here. They're going low, but there's going to be the Samuel O on the back of line. One shot, one kill coming out, but it's actually going to be Glaive falling to the side of DNG. You can see the Imperial Sigil keeping them alive for a second, but Lyra actually going to fall to that gauntlet. And Blue City needs to be careful here because it looks like they're fairly low health going up against Tatuki, who is half health, and you got to remember how well this Samuel can sustain. They did choose to go back, but Tatuki's still weighing in the wings, going to steal some farm. And right now, Detonation Gaming with the general advantage, but VV Quiz has actually been caught out quite a bit. And I mean, it's at least I guess for the side of Detonation Gaming, it's not the worst target that could get caught out because it's your Roma going down. Of course, going into team fights, that's going to be bad, but it means that these carries still haven't lost too much of that gold lead, especially to Tuki, 303 at the moment.
Yeah, but honestly, Lara going down, a lot of it, the first 3 kills for the side of Impunity was actually that of Lara. So honestly, I don't think the side of Detonation Gaming would mind much if it was Lara. Oh, one shot, one kill. Do misses that pickup on that gold miner. However, did take a royal on that. It is very low. So like I was about to say, although they have picked up Lara like very early game, like 3 times in the early game, but it doesn't quite matter to the side of Detonation Gaming. And like you said, it is because they are the Roma after all, and in that team fight alone, because Keys, it was quite a big deal for the side of Detonation Gaming when Keys went down almost immediately, just mid-team fight to the gauntlet, like you said as well. So, you know, the side of Detonation Gaming, they are playing very objective-based. They just one objective after another objective. We do see Drifting Dart coming out.
And we see that right now being objective-based, but also being able to pick up kills while going for it. And they're almost going to get Quartervore pushing him right back into the base. But Kestrel on this backline at the moment is looking for Tatuki, but needs to be careful to not get caught out by the Oblivion. And Tatuki going to be able to trade that one out slightly with the help from VV Quiz that turned around. And it's up to Impunity to hold down the fort just for a second longer as DevQ's respawning. And this is the problem right now, that both teams are going at it with barely any defense. I'm not sure if I should call that a problem because it's great to cast the damage coming out by both teams, but Impunity at the moment kind of falling out. They need to find the targets with that afterburn and get Glaive in there. And obviously for Glaive to find the damage afterwards. At the moment, seeing on that Tension Bow and Sorrow Blade, I'm wondering if he's doing enough. He's got a lot of burst, but whether he can go against a sustaining team like this with the Samuel and with the Lyra, and of course we know Idris having a very good escape with the ultimate, so it's going to be tough for the side of Impunity. But if they can just get that one good team fight, especially coming up to Kraken, they might be able to turn this one around.
Yep, and we do see the creep score, the CS advantage the side of Royal has over DevQ. Royal is sitting at 138 CS at this point in time, and of course DevQ just a mere 113 minutes or close to 14 minutes into game. And I guess this is why, looking at Royal on this Idris, he is sitting on 4 tier 3 weapon items, and just imagine the amount of damage coming out from him, whereas DevQ is just sitting on a tier 2 boots into a reflex block, and of course Sorrow Blade, and working into a poison ship at this point in time. So sorry, I apologize for that cough. But so the side of DevQ or the side of Impunity just do not have enough damage, or rather as much damage as compared to the side of Detonation Gaming at this point in time. And I must commend Detonation Gaming on their ability to translate those kills they get into the mid game into a lot of turrets. I mean, whenever they pick someone off, they immediately just go on for that turret, and I guess that is why they are having a close to 10k lead in the game as well. Oh, we do
At the
see
moment,
Castro being
ooh.
very, very sneaky as well.
Yeah, Castro needs to be careful though, because look at all the vision coming out from beside Detonation Gaming. They're going to stand on one scout trap, be forced between the Oblivion and the rest of DNG, and it's going to be VV Royal to jump on them. Now it's up to Quarterboy and DefQ to get out of there. They did manage to pick up Tatuki while they weren't looking, however, so it was a trade for trade, and now oh, this is bad. DefQ has been split off from Quartervore, but Quartervore could get to him still with the gauntlet, and then it looks like DefQ would be able to afterburn his way out of there. Does use it over the wall, and there's the gauntlet going down, but Quartervore now putting himself in danger. Is going to boot out there, and Echo with the second gauntlet to get out. VV Royale able to dance through that one, however, and oh, it looks like Impunity regrouping as a team. This is good, but if Quartervore not quite stepping on that vision in that bush, or my game is glitched if there's no vision there.
Yeah, there is one thing for sure. It's that the side of Detonation Gaming as compared to the side of Impunity is that usually you want to see a CP Castro, you want to come in for the backstab, you want to come in like an assassin because you can't quite face front the damage. Whereas the side of Detonation Gaming, they can afford that with their Crystal Carry instead of Samuel, because your Drifting Dog is going to go forward. You are going to put out tons and tons of damage with your Empowered Malice and Verdict, and not forgetting the sustain you are getting with your Corrupted Genius perk. We do see Kraken being unleashed for the side of Detonation Gaming as well, not at all spotted out by the side of Impunity. So this is something that's going good for the side of Detonation Gaming. I mean, I am still rooting for the side of Impunity, but then it's just their team comp on both sides. I said early on that they are very familiar with, except for some major differences, is that Blue City on that Castro has to play on the back line, has to go in for the backstab. Hopefully someone steps into the mist and Castro can have like one up on them. Whereas the side of Detonation Gaming, they can just fall front the damage and just charge into face front.
Well, we see DefQ initiating the fight with the Afterburn, but there's going to be Imperial Sigil to get out there and Fountain on the side of DNG, and they're going to pick up a kill onto that Glaive, and there goes the Gauntlet going down, but Kraken still at full health, and Blue City trying their best to hold them off, but no one has really responded to this Kraken, and all of DNG up for this Crystal, and they're going to be able to take it with ease. First game between Impunity and Detonation Gaming going over to the side of Detonation. GG, well played. And you could see definitely on the side of Impunity, and I have to mention that the Kestrel was positioning correctly. They were going into the jungle trying to get these back flanks on the enemy team to kind of pincer them in. However, it just wasn't working out in terms of getting caught out with vision or not being able to find the targets. You saw a lot of the time Detonation Gaming would move as the single unit and always stick together as a team. And I think especially when you're running that sustain comp and with that Lyra, it's so important to do that. And it just helps with the engage phase when you go in with that Idris and then Samuel on the back line, also dropping down the Oblivion. So in the end, well played to both teams, and GG.
Well played indeed. We did see a lot of amazing players coming up from Impunity, especially in that of early game. There is one thing I must point out in that game is that DefQ on that Glaive did quite well trying to catch Tanuki out. But honestly, is that really your target that you want to go for? Or is Royal on that Idris a much better target? Because honestly, Royal is sitting on 4 full items and is outputting so much more damage as compared, or rather, I mean burst damage as compared to Tatuki on that Samuel. Granted, Tatuki's Samuel has been positioning very well, landing all the crucial Malice and Verdicts while it's in the Drifting Dark. But honestly, the one putting out a lot of damage and outputting the most damage really have to go to Royal on that Idris. So honestly, it is GG and well played for both teams, especially for Impunity in that of early game. But because you cannot translate those early game kills and then have a steady snowball into the late game, picking up turrets after turrets, you are just going to go down to a team that's very, very objective focused. Whether they take 1 down, whether they take 2 down, they will want to go for an objective, whether gold mine or whether your turret, pushing you backwards and forcing you to turtle up.
And with that, it really looking at that draft phase, we could kind of tell that there was quite a strong engage and sustain comp coming out of the side of Detonation, where Impunity were more relied around that glaive working and really kind of making those kills count in the early game. As you said, translating kills into objectives as well is so important. And we saw Detonation Gaming really able to do that. I'm not sure if Impunity were able to even take a turret from them, but we're going to have to see how this next match turns out between the two teams because with that,
I
I
think
believe,
Turret.
if I'm wrong, yeah.
Well, with that, I mean, Impunity did not manage to take down any turrets from the side of DNG, although they did try to siege with all those minion candies, but didn't quite pay out. So I think it was 2 times that minion candy was bought, and that it's $100 went to waste. We did see though in the early game, the side of Detonation Gaming is slowly increasing the lead, and without any kills as well, it was just down to objective control, picking up that sentry, picking up those turrets, picking up the full payout of the gold mine as well. So honestly, a lot of teams we've seen coming out from the side of East Asia are more objective focused as compared to kill focused. Don't you agree with me? I mean, we did see the Halcyon Showdown, a show match between that of Infamous and Ace, and Ace did the same exact thing. There were no kills till the 13th minute. And 13th minute, that was the first blood for the side of Infamous, but Ace Gaming did manage to close out the game 3-0 at a late game because of how objective focused they are. Anyways, draft is ready, and without further ado, let's just hop straight into draft.
And now going into this draft for a second time between these two teams, we might. Do you think we're going to see this? I was going to say, do you think we're going to see a Rome focus ban at the start, but instantly Impunity going for that Samuel ban? I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Grace ban here, but do you think they're going to let Impunity have that one?
Yeah, I think they are going to let Impunity have the one. I mean, based on what I've seen so far is in East Asian matter, Grace isn't quite a priority. A lot of priority has been on that Catherine as well. I mean, even I'm just going through my notes, and I think in the game between Ace and Infamous, Catherine is largely banned out as well by either team. So for the side of DNG, they do ban out that Catherine, and of course picked up by Impunity, they are going to settle for that Castro once again. Probably going to put DevQ on that Castro this time around.
And it is interesting seeing that Kestrel pick up again. I know before, and it's just what you mentioned, the fact that DevQ wasn't on that Kestrel before. I believe a lot to the fact that they were putting the Kestrel in the jungle, trying to go with that CP Kestrel. Maybe this time we're going to see a weapon power Kestrel as a change of pace here. But we do see the next lock-ins being that Grace and the ban being on that Idris.
Well, I mean, Idris is a really strong weapon carry, or rather a weapon laner at this point in time, especially when after you unlock the divergent path and when you can farm more efficiently in lane. Idris is just a monster to deal with in the later part of the game. With Idris banned out, Impunity might consider going for the Baron because of how strong Baron is at this point in time. But knowing there's Castro in game, and hopefully DevQ is on this Castro, we will not see that Baron any longer. So basically all the weapon laners are banned out at this point in time. The side of Detonation Gaming, they might go for that Baron, and we do see a Baron coming out from the side of Detonation Gaming in response to hopefully that is a Castro, or rather DevQ on Castro.
Oh yeah, we're going to have to see. There's the Celeste pickup, so it does confirm that we're going to be seeing a weapon power Kestrel, in fact, and the Lance following up with that. So, it's going to be a very aggressive Kestrel this way, especially with that Lance engaging there. And I can imagine, of course, Lance will have to peel for the Celeste, especially when they went for that Taka pickup. Once again, Detonation Gaming having a very strong engage comp, but they do have quite a lot of zoning and range on the side of Impunity. So how are you feeling about this draft?
Honestly, looking at this draft, Lance is a good pickup, and I guess that is one of the reasons Detonation Gaming did ban out Lance in the first draft. I guess it's the second ban in the first draft as well. So I think Lance is a good pickup here because Lance can assist with all of those initial engages, and of course the front line and soak up more damage as compared to that of Arden, because of the 40 damage reduction you do get from your Githian wall when you get it. At level 2, probably. And of course, there's a lot of zoning and of course a lot of burst damage coming up from the side of Impunity as well, with that Castro and Grace and Celeste. But we cannot discount the fact that DNG, they have just got so much firepower themselves just on that Baron alone. And of course, there is a Taka there to just mess and be a nuisance for the side of Impunity. If they are going to concentrate on the Taka in the late game, then Baron can just be at the back lines, putting out so much damage after just one jump jet. Whereas on the side, and of course on DNG as well, they have Grace, a very strong roamer in the early part of the game. You don't even have to buy damage item, and in the early game, you just have got so much damage on your benediction, and in fact, the second part of your auto attack, the slam on the ground, and the slow, it's quite useful for the side of DNG as well. So honestly, if I would say put my money on a team, I must say I still go for the side of Impunity, because they are just so used to playing with this type of team comp. In fact, they used to have this Lyra on the team comp as well, just to assist with the healing, and of course they don't have a frontliner then. But with Alliance, I think the team comp looks so much more balanced, especially with, you know, 2 range heroes to zone out the side of DNG, and not forgetting Weapon Castro in lane going up against a Baron. In the early part of the game, you would definitely out damage him with your 4 Glimmer shots.
Well, I can agree with you there on the fact that they will have they do have good balance on the side of Impunity, with that Lance being able to go in with the Impale. Hopefully you'll be able to follow that up with a Core Collapse, but right now we're going to see Tatuki diving in there. Core Collapse is going to land onto him, trying to find the target of Blue City. BB Quiz is there with him, but Tatuki getting low, and they might have to back off from this one because those Heliogenesis are still raining down, and you can see them realizing that there's the Impale coming out by Cordovar, but look how low he is right now. It looks like Tatuki might just get out of this one, however, but it doesn't look like Impunity gonna give up on the chase anytime soon. They want to say, look, if you're gonna run, we're still gonna at least take some farm from you. We're not going out empty-handed. And right now, it's actually being Baron forced to back first, and it looks like he's picked up the 6 sins and some boots and healing. That's going to help with a bit more mobility. Kestrel still staying on those double weapon blades, but now going to go for the back instead. And so right now, pretty even up in lane, I'd say. Do you think any team has a clear advantage in this early game? However, you did mention the Grace being quite strong.
Yeah, we do see the Grace playing rather passively though, and not going for the early game invade that we did see a solo invade by Grace coming out from the side of North America whenever a Grace is being picked up, or rather allowed through. So even if a Grace do play rather passively, which we do see now, Blue City may be caught out by the side of DNG Gaming, but they are just going to back off, just stealing some fun.
Oh, it's going to be Cordovar going in with the Impale, however, and VV Royale has rotated down, able to stop any kind of engage coming out of the side of Impunity. Both teams playing it fairly passive. They go in with a bit of poke, however, but no one really committing to these fights. I think also it's quite hard to get the lockdowns at the moment, although when we talk about CC, definitely the side of Impunity has that undercover with the Lance on the Impale, on the Blue City has the Core Collapse there on that Celeste. I mean, you're looking more so at in terms on DNG, you're looking just on that Grace, and it's more about the engage and how much damage they can output. So it's going to be up to Cordovar on that Lance for how much he can peel for his team to give them that opportunity to get the damage down.
Yeah, but honestly, what Grace offer is basically a team-wide damage reduction, whereas on the side of Impunity with that Lance, you do not have a team-wide damage reduction. It's more so to be able to resist damage coming from the front that your shield is facing.
And right now we see Tatuki jumping onto Blue City. Blue City actually separated from their Roma, and it looks like Lance was just ready to go back anyway, but is going to turn around with the Giffian wall and help out Blue City. There's been Pale, very nice. I believe Tatuki was invisible during that. They might pick up the kill onto Blue City, but they will find themselves faced off with Def Q at the moment. Will they be able to escape? There's a Glimmer Shot going out, and Lance able to pick it up with the basic attack. So a bit of a trade there. But First Blood going over to the side of DNG and be able to push those minions into the turret. No real, I guess, aggression up in the lane between either of these teams either. It's been quite a jungle-focused game, if you would agree, that both teams kind of rotating down to their junglers to help them out.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, they don't have to quite be aggressive in lane because Baron just really want to farm up. Whereas if Baron does go down to shop, then of course Baron can help you out just so that little bit. Whereas Taka does quite well, relatively well, as compared to a Celeste in that of the early game because of how mobile a Taka is, and you can just dodge a lot of the Heliogenocide or even Supernovas and Core Collapses coming out from the side of Impunity, or rather Blue City in the least. Anyway, we do see
VV Royale with that jump to get out of the way from the Pale. He did return from shop with that Sorrow Blade now, and we can see a bit more focus on the lane coming out from the side of Impunity. However, Tatuki on that Taka on the backlines does look like he might have been caught out there, however, and is just going to have to walk around back into his own jungle. And back to that statement you were saying of both teams don't really have to be too aggressive right now, but it is going to be tougher for Detonation as Celeste gets stronger, but they do have Baron on their own team. So it is a bit of a way out for both teams having those late game heroes. But you know that the Kestrel, we've seen Kestrel before when they don't build any armor and they just focus on that damage, they can just be such a powerhouse coming into the mid game.
Definitely, but there is one thing. Although the side of Impunity, they scale so well into the late game, we cannot forget the amount of damage that Royal can put out on that Baron, especially after picking up the Sorrow Blade into a tension bow. Generally, your first spike of power is after you pick up that Sorrow Blade. And of course,
It looks like, yeah, there will be, as we're looking for a tension bow pickup there, but they don't actually have quite enough right now. Just going to go for that 6 cents. But look at this, Impunity pushing up onto the turret. There's going to be the flare and Impale onto Grace. It looks like Taka going to be able to dodge out that one, but Blue Sea, you can already see taking a lot of damage, having to back out of that fight early, but no kills being found yet. There's the one shot, one kill coming out onto Royale, however, and it looks like Tatuki might go around the backlines for a bit of a sneaky play or just some jungle steal right now. Tatuki fairly focused on that farm at the moment. You can see actually behind the Celeste, who maybe took a bit of lane farm there because Tatuki at 35 farm over to the 37 of Blue City, but Impunity definitely this game, and I think they're heeding to your advice, what you said earlier, of focusing on those objectives as much as they can. We see Tatuki on the backline, might catch out Def Q, but they're going to have to back out. Their quarter ball also getting low. And once again, no kills going over between either team. They're playing this one so evenly into the second match.
they are indeed playing really evenly, but I guess it is just down to how much respect they have for each other. We do see them, or rather the side of DNG, going for that 246 gold for each player. And this is a thing we do see coming up from a lot of East Asian teams, is that if they cannot secure a particular, say, objective, they will want to go for the gold mine just so they have that little increment in lead per se. Whereas Impunity, we do see them, they try really hard to go for the gold mine, even having like Celeste and Castro both up in lane. But the side of DNG just couldn't hold lane so very well. DefQ, we do see DefQ and Blue City once again going up to lane, probably gonna minion candy out. Okay, so the side Waterboard do not have minion candy, but they are clearing wave really, really fast, just preparing to push this wave down. Ion Cannon is used to take out the wave.
And VV Royal gonna jump in just for a bit more damage with those auto attacks, and it's gonna be Quiz going in with the Grace. And we now see Taco with that Aftershock, so they got a bit of damage here. Before it's just more tank with the Storm Crown. So maybe now Detonation Gaming could be posing themselves for a team fight. However, you go worry with those Heliogenesis there, with a lot of vision on the side of Detonation, on the side of Impunity, but Detonation Gaming able to pick up that kill onto Celeste, and it looks like it is the go button for the side of Detonation as they manage to pick up one kill, maybe three as they jump in. They gotta be careful of the miss, but it looks like Royale not gonna get caught out there, and there's going to be the ace going over to Detonation. Surely they're going to get the first turret of the game out of this.
They are definitely going to get the first turret out of this. And like I said before, even before game started, Taka can just really be a nuisance in that of early game, in that of late game. But in the early game, the burst we saw on Taka, managing to pick up both Quarter War and that of Death Q, if I'm not wrong, just so in the early, or rather, sorry, Blue City in the early game was just insane. And of course, the burst is starting to come up from Royal on this Baron as well, after the tension bow being picked up, working, and of course working to that turret's monocle. The side of Impunity once again posturing up for probably the first turret of DNG, and whether or not they can get it is another issue. My game has kind of paused. Is your game still running?
It's still running and going smoothly, so I'll take it from here.
Okay.
As it actually looks like Impunity might be looking for a fight there. You can see the Heliogenesis coming out from Blue City, and they now have that level 9, so they've obviously gone past the overdrive on those Heliogenesis and gonna have a bit more range. But DNG is starting to move together a bit more, and I think after taking this first objective, it has given them that kind of advantage to move more as a team, gives Baron a bit more opportunity for roaming, and there's gonna be the jump over the wall. Luckily, Blue City wasn't there yet. They are going to steal the farm away from Impunity, however, and you mentioned this before. If in East Asia teams, they tend to go for the gold mine as an objective if they really don't have anything else to do. They did start it. It's at half health now. Whether they're going to commit to it is the next question. Tatuki going to actually jump in onto Celeste there, and they're going to back off. There's the Solar Storm coming out. Not quite the steal, however, and Detonation Gaming going to get 218 gold each on that one. So starting to slowly push this gold lead ahead, and I think that is what leads into kind of helping them go with they focus on the objectives and can continue doing that and not really giving up any of their own. We see a 5k gold lead on the side of Detonation Gaming, who are sitting at 25.3k over 20.9k on the side of Impunity. But VB Quiz needing to be careful here not to get caught out. Doesn't look like Cordovar ready to waste the Impale yet. He's just going to let that pass.
Well, yeah, like till now, 11 minutes into game, we've seen several times when, you know, the side of Impunity did come up into lane to try to siege the tower of the side of DNG, but DNG with that Baron and with that Taka is just holding lane so very well. And there is one thing we must note is that although the team comp coming up from the side of Impunity, I must say it's really good.
Well, looks like Tatuki gonna jump on to Blue City, almost taking them out. Actually, it does with the bleed. Meanwhile, Kestrel gonna fall to VB Royale on that Baron, and they're able to pick up a kill. Obviously initiated by VB Quiz on the Grace, so DNG playing their team comp very well at the moment, pushing in with those A-Stub minions, and they might even be able to take another one here. We do see Def Q and Blue City spawning now. Cordovar is far behind, but they're going to manage to take the anchor turret away from Impunity, and this could prove massive for the side of Detonation Gaming as we lead into the mid-game. Kraken isn't even up yet, but ooh, there's some dangerous damage coming out from that Kestrel onto Baron with the one-shot kill. Not even CP, it's just the fact that Baron so far in this game, and it's really how... Don't you agree? We've talked about this in previous castings, that this is how we like to see Baron played, with that damage focus and leave it up to your roamer to keep you alive, at least in the early game, and then you can go focus on more defense towards the late. So VB Royale with a good strategy here, but it will be risky and does open a window of opportunity for Impunity to come back, as long as they can be the ones catching Detonation Gaming out in one fight. So far, we've seen Detonation with most of the engages after that first turret.
And a lot of times we do see Baron kind of prioritizing on the tier 2, or if not, then tier 3 boots. Whereas on the side of DNG, and especially on this Baron, we do not see that happening. In fact, he is just going for pure damage, just keeping himself with that treble, not even treble. He's keeping himself at that sprint boots, and he's just settling for that. Even the side, even Tatuki on the Taka is as well, just settling for that sprint boots and just optimizing and of course prioritizing on damage.
Ooh, and we see Baron going in with massive damage. Grace actually going to pick up a kill there. And now moving on to Blue City, not going to let them escape. Tatuki coming around for the kill as well. And oh my god, Solar Storm going to come out from the Celeste, and we're going to take Baron down with him. This is the dangerous path I said they were walking, but it does mean that the side of Detonation Gaming still have two of their members up, and they might be able to find the kill onto Quartervore if he sticks around, but he's tanky enough to get out of there and smart enough.
Definitely. I mean, we did see though, Quartervore was taken down really low and was forced to head back home. And then it was just down to DevQ and Blue City to just hold their ground and hold the fort, like you always say. But the Tatuki and Royal on that Baron and Taka was just outputting so much damage. I take back whatever I say about Tatuki just being a nuisance in the late game. Instead, Tatuki has got so much damage because a lot of Takas in Southeast Asia, we kind of do realize a kind of a pattern, yeah, for Taka in Southeast Asia. It's that they go for an aftershock, and then immediately, or rather Stormcrown first in the aftershock, and afterwards they just prioritize on those defenses.
Yeah, they really like
up.
to play the tanky Taka, which is that nuisance of a Taka, which can just dive you. It gets in there. It doesn't do as much damage, but it still does enough to really open up the kills for the rest of your team. But in this situation, we are seeing something different, as you said, and we almost see Tatuki always going off on his own in these team fights for the initial part with the engages. And we might see one more now as they're getting ready. And Pale isn't going to hit, but VV Quiz going to jump onto Blue City. There's going to be the jump jets coming out from Royale, and you can see Tatuki already deep in there, but needs to be careful of the glimmer shots coming out from DevQ. And oh my lord, the damage on VV Royale at the moment. Seeing on that tension bow, Soul Blade, a Tyrant's Monocle, Tornado Trigger, and a lucky shot. Has no shred of defense at this point at 15 minutes, 50 seconds in, except boots. If you want to count boots as defense, but I would not.
I mean, it is as close to defense as a Sorrow Blade is, but yeah, I mean, some people do count, oh, like you asked them, yeah, where's the defense? And I've got boots. Alright, so I do receive that sometimes, so yeah, I give it to you. It's probably a form of defense in some people's eyes. But honestly, if you think about it, the amount of damage coming out from Royal on this Baron is just immense. Just 2 shots on DevQ on that Castrol, and DevQ was so low, so close to being taken down. We cannot discount the fact that DevQ has got his own damage as well, sitting on a Sorrow Blade and of course double Tyrant's Monocle. But even before you could land those 4 glimmer shots, VV Royal on that Baron has already taken down to a slither of health. So it is just down to a lot of engages, especially when Keys on this Grace can just tank up so much damage in the front. Like, oh, Casual might be caught out right now.
So we see Tatuki going in, does get caught out by the core collapse, and it looks like DevQ wants to get another glimmer shot off, but it's not going to happen. Divine Intervention coming down on Tatuki. They're looking for the kill onto Blue City. They're not going to jump into the base for it, however, and it's going to be Quartervore being able to back off with Blue City. But can they hold the base together as we see a large group of minions pushing in with the full team of Detonation Gaming right now? And it looks like Celeste getting deleted from Royale, and Quartervore soon to follow. That's the ace going over to Detonation Gaming. They have a few minions with them, make that one, but he's big and tanky, and so are Detonation right now as they manage to take the turrets on Impunity's base. Kestrel's up, but I'm not sure what they can do against the 3 powerhouses on the side of Detonation, and it looks like they're not going to be able to save the base. Game 2 going over to Detonation. GG, well played.
GG, well played indeed. I mean, Baron, we didn't see him play in that of the first game. He wasn't banned out as well. But when DNG do pick up that Baron, I guess DNG was really just afraid of that Idris pickup on the side, or rather DNG is just a little more comfortable on that Idris as compared to a Baron. But they did very well on that Baron. Just the amount of damage coming out from Royal on that Baron was just insane. There was really no response to the amount of damage as well, and at the end of the day they are still sitting on a sprint, and I'm quite amazed at this. Yeah, the only reason I'm amazed because SEA players, they prioritized so much during all of VG8 matches. We, especially on Baron, they prioritized so much on movement. Whereas for the side of DNG, because they know Baron is slow, so they kind of try to move around Baron, and of course, just allowing Keys to take up and soak up as much damage as Grace can as a hero. And then Baron just have to jump in when, Glimmer Shots have been used, when Core Collapsers have been used, and Baron jump in finally to just take out all the important carries and then move on to those objectives. So honestly, well played to the side of DNG, and of course, GG to the side of Impunity. But before we enter the third and possibly the final match between these two teams, Impunity and DNG, we are going in for a very short break, and we'll see you very soon. Hello and welcome back to Vainglory Halcyon Showdown between Impunity and, of course, Detonation Gaming. We saw in the first two games that Detonation put on a lot of pressure on the side of Impunity, manages to pick up 2 games out of the best of 5. And, of course, as we are moving into the third game, I am casting alongside the 50% Japanese and the one and only I Request a Duo.
Thank you, Luxura, and it is great to be here, isn't it? With today's show match, I think it's really exciting for the both of us. Of course, me being from Japan and you being from Singapore, so it's, both teams we can support.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Impunity, they reign from Singapore. They are the top team in Singapore at this point in time. Second place in Southeast Asia, Vainglory 8 in terms of seeding and point standings as well. So we are going into the third game at this point in time, and we did see a Grace being picked up. Although I was saying earlier on that, Catherine is really just a priority. But then as during the break, I was just going through draft and their drafting phase, and I must say, Catherine kind of counters a lot of heroes out there, especially with that Merciless Pursuit and of course that of Blast Tremor. I mean, she is an ass and pain in the ass to deal with, that Catherine. So I guess it's sensible to ban her out, and especially DNG. Just looking at DNG's draft, Catherine has always been a priority ban for them.
Yeah, and you really could see that come through, but also the fact that the Grace was let through in that draft and Impunity didn't pick it up instead of jumping onto that Kestrel. And I wonder if they don't and they leave it open for the side of Detonation, whether Detonation even want the Kestrel. As in fact, we saw the Samuel being picked up in that initial match, and they were able to work very well with that on the side of Lyra and Idris as well.
Or maybe it's just so that the side, or rather DevQ, is really just comfortable on that weapon Castro. And also, one more thing is that Castro is such a good flex pick as well. As we did see in the first 2 games between Impunity and Detonation Gaming, they picked up Castro as their initial first few picks, especially for Impunity. They picked up Castro first, and they can flex it into the jungle. And of course, played by Blue City, and of course, they can flex it into the lane as well. Anyways, draft is ready, and let's see if the side of Impunity will still pick up Castro as the first pick. So without further ado, let's just hop straight right into draft. Oh, that was a great tongue twister.
Straight right in we go. We're here, and as you said, we're going to look for those bans, maybe even targeted bans. This time, Detonation Gaming being back on the blue side and Impunity once again on the red side. And no surprises there. It's going to be the Catherine ban straight away. The Grace ban following up, which I believe is what we saw Impunity do into that first matchup.
Yep, we did see Impunity banning out the Grace as a second pickup, and on the side of DNG, they are going to respond. They are going to respond to that ban with that of another healer of the fold in the fold, and that will be Lara. And of course, Impunity snitching that Samuel away from the side of Detonation Gaming. I think for this draft, Impunity kind of worked out the first 2 games and kind of figured out the flow of Detonation Gaming. They are banning out that Castro just for the side of Detonation Gaming, I assume.
And with that, there's that obvious ban onto Kestrel, but the pickup of Samuel is just like a deny to the side of Detonation Gaming, which I'm excited to see how Impunity play on this Samuel.
Definitely. I mean, we did see Blue City on that Samuel for a couple of VG8 matches. DNG is yet again going in for their second roam ban, and that would be Lance as of the first game.
Oh, look at this, but right now, Impunity just stealing the picks out from the side of Detonation Gaming. As we know from the first match, they went with that Lyra, that Samuel, and that Idris, and they've just taken 2 of those away. So I wonder how they're going to play this out. You can see once again, Detonation doing the same draft phase so far, except without those being able to follow up with the Samuel and Idris pick, but having that Lance ban out as well as the Catherine, really limiting them on the roams for the side of Impunity, but they're gonna go onto that box pickup. So gonna have to see how this works out. And there's the Arden coming out.
No, what is this?
Power Arden. No, it might be a CP Lyra by the looks of it if we get a weapon power box in lane.
Okay, so we might see a CP Lyra in jungle. what do you reckon the clear speed of a CP Lara would be? Because now I
when
think
Lyra came out, she was that mage as well, wasn't she? But I
Yeah.
think it was off purpose. They weren't trying to do that, and they reduced the damage on Lyra because they wanted to put her back into that support role a bit more. So you don't see it as much anymore. But whether we see that CP Lyra or it could always be the weapon power Arden, and we might see a CP Vox. So we're never too sure there, but the team comp coming out from Detonation Gaming is definitely interesting. And it's great to see in one of these show matches, these guys are just playing for fun, a bit of sportsmanship between them as well. So being able to see EA and the SEA compete in a friendly match like this, I think it's just all in the name of fun. They do have 8 seconds, however, on the side of Impunity to make their final pick. I'm not sure if they know how to end this one out with a Roma, or there might have been some technical difficulties. So we're just going to have to see about that one. Draft may be reset, or we might just be able to ask for players in game. So we'll get confirmation on that. But while we wait for it, do you have any speculation as to what they're going to go? I mean,
the side of
Lance was banned out as well as the Catherine and the Grace, and they've just picked up Arden. Who can they go? I didn't even realize Detonation just did that to them by picking up Arden. They've seriously limited the side of Impunity by picking up Arden.
Yep, I mean the side of Impunity, they can go for. Okay, so we have confirmation from the side of production. Glaive will be picked up as Roma for the side of Impunity. But honestly, the side of Impunity, they can't just go for a Baptiste as a Roma. Baptiste does very well as a Roma. But honestly, what DNG just stole all of the meta picks for Roma, at least from the side of Impunity. They have the Catherine, they banned out the Lance, and of course for the side of Impunity, they banned out the Grace. And for the side of DNG, they secured the Lyra, and of course that Arden as well. It is an interesting draft phase, I must say. And it kind of boggles me as to what the side of DNG would run Arden as. We might see double weapon power for Vox, and of course that of Arden. If not, then we might see a Lyra as crystal carry, like you said, and Arden roam. And of course a weapon Vox to be placed in lane, or we can just see a sandwich the carry, phase where Arden goes on hit or something, go like aftershock, and then tension bow, then probably max blood for blood, in which then they can just protect this Fox with all the CCs coming out. So that could be a thing as well. Going into Impunity's team comp of Samuel, Idris, and of course Glaive. Honestly, I'm not sure what to expect coming into this third show match between DNG and Impunity.
And it really is something there that what Detonation Gaming has done. I thought at first maybe it was just to have a bit more fun into this third match and be a bit more risky, but that is actually such a play, taking away that Arden after banning those roamers.
Well, it is, but it is just down to how DNG will be playing on those heroes that they've decided on. So we do see a CP Lara that's going to be placed in the jungle, and of course, Rome Arden keys will be on Rome Arden, and Tatuki 217 will be on the Crystal Lara, and not forgetting Royal, that OP weapon carry for the side of Detonation Gaming, be on that weapon Fox. And on the side of Impunity, we have DevQ EA, or rather DevQ on Idris. We have Blue City on that Samuel, and of course a Quarter War on that Glaive as Rome.
And with that, the players have loaded into the Halcyon fold. So let's go into the third match between Detonation Gaming and Impunity for what might be the final in this best of 5. But will Impunity be able to make a comeback with the team comp that managed to put together? This Glaive as the Rome on the side of Impunity. And don't get me wrong, Glaive Rome has worked before, and it's good to see the Dragon Blood contract coming out here because it means they're looking for aggressive start. And you can see that by Impunity's positioning going into the jungle of Detonation Gaming, looking for a possible steal onto this first jungle camp and maybe clearing out half of it if they're able to. You can see they're going to instead turn their attention to the middle Treant and start that one, which as long as VV Quiz doesn't catch scent of that, they should be able to get, you see Cordovar after burning through there, just making sure VV Quiz doesn't come along. And it looks like they're able to steal away some farm as well as that middle cap. And that's going to help Impunity here. I'm glad they went for their aggressive start, but you can see now both Aromas just fighting it out here. No. And where the emotes, where the taunts, there's going to be Tatuki with the Imperial Sigil, however, and Cordovar going to have to use the Afterburn to get out of there. Looks like DefQ going to make that initial rotation up to lane now, and actually sitting on 4 potions, a Book of Eulogies, and some armor. So really looking to stay up in this lane and farm it out, I believe.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is the first time we do see a mage, a Crystal Lara, placed in that of jungle, but honestly, a Crystal Lara going up against Samuel in jungle, I think the side of Detonation Gaming might have a tough time in the jungle, especially if Samuel do go into the jungle to just constantly bug and bother Tatuki on that Lara. But at the end of the day, they do have quite a lot of CCs coming out from Detonation Gaming. We have Arden with the gauntlet, and of course we have Tatuki with the basic attack slow, and of course the bright bulwark as well. So that is one thing that's going for the side of Detonation Gaming. But overall, the team comp coming out from the side of Impunity, it just looks so much better with the Clay being to put the side of Detonation Gaming off position. So I guess at the end of the day, I think it's rather even. It's down to how they are going to execute it at the end of the day.
And you can see DefQ getting quite low at the moment, and Detonation Gaming really putting on the pressure up in this lane. They don't have the Lyra to help sustain them here. They, however, have that Samuel who's going to use the Drifting Dark and be able to pick up the first blood for the side of Impunity. So that's going to be looking good for them. DefQ going to do his best to heal back up with that Book of Eulogy. Still hasn't gone back, sitting on about 1,700 gold right now, so it looks like it might be a good time to turn around. Meanwhile, the rest of his team, however, pushing into that jungle. You can see them being quite aggressive as Cordovar going in with that Afterburn, but Tatuki gonna use the Imperial Sigil to try get them out of there, and it's gonna be VV Quiz actually on that Arden to be able to push away Blue City for now. But we did talk about the sustain that this Samuel has, and that is one of the key factors for the side of Impunity right now, but it's really relying on their engage.
Well, it is really just down to how they are going to engage for the side of DNG Gaming, especially how they are going to utilize this Arcane Passage from Lara. Because as a mage, if you are going to build Lara as a mage, then you will be really squishy. And whether or not you can Arcane Passage in for that engage, or you are going to rely on Arden for that engage, would be, a point of question as well. They did, on the side of Tatuki, he did manage to hold out from the engage coming out from Blue City on that Samuel. But it is really just down to how they are going to play in the end game, because we must realize this, that Lyra as CP carry, she don't quite
look at Cordovar here going in with Afterburn. There's going to be the Chakram coming out from DefQ, but not quite enough damage. BB Royale is going to find the safety of that Imperial Sigil as Tatuki is now up in lane with them. But Impunity not backing down from this one. Cordovar low on energy, but should be enough to get Afterburn off. Instead, is just going to back here and... or is he just a bit of taunt perhaps at the moment? And it looks like Impunity going to continue to push this lane in. I like this aggression coming out from Impunity this time, really trying to put Detonation Gaming in kind of the backseat there and make sure they are the ones that get this first objective. It's looking that Impunity really want to play that way and have this early game.
Yeah, but there is one thing you must realize, is compared, like a Samuel as compared to a Lara, is that Samuel would rely a lot on, say, the Malices and Verdict and hitting all of them, whereas Tatuki on this Lara are just gonna rely on a lot of the basic attacks, and that is really your second basic attack, I must say, and that really is how you are going to go down, and it's just down to whether or not Blue City on that Samuel can hit all of those empowered basic attacks, whereas Lyra, it's quite a different mage. You have that range, especially you have a longer range as compared to Samuel, and of course a Death Q on that Idris, especially after you've overdriven your Arcane Passage or even have your Arcane Passage at level 2, then that way you have and you can outrange a lot of the other heroes out there.
And we see Blue City already with that level 6, same with Tatuki, and you're right on that. Very different mages in this situation, but that's why you see Tatuki building towards that alternating current as the initial item rather than a Frostburn. Meanwhile, Blue City seeing on that Frostburn and Crystal Bit as well as a Void Battery. It looks like Def Q able to get out there as well. So no fight going to happen right now unless Impunity are looking for it. You can see Glaive roaming down, and he does get flared out. He's going in pretty deep at the moment, but he might just be... What is Court of War doing? He's playing this one so aggressively, but as I said, I do like it from the side of Impunity. He just needs to be careful. He is the tank in this situation, so it does help him out a bit more, and they're really just relying on those crucial afterburns like we see right there. They hit Tatuki back, and then there's going to be the Oblivion coming out, followed by the Fountain for the side of Detonation Gaming, trying to keep them alive, but they just get cornered between Impunity, and they're able to pick up a kill onto that Samuel. Now, only a 2-kill lead, but Impunity definitely in this game feels so much stronger, and they're controlling this match a lot more so far.
Well, I guess it is just down to the heroes picked up for the side of DNG that's allowing Impunity to have this lead.
Damage coming down onto Royale out of Def Q. Court of War not able to find the afterburn, however, but right now it's going to be Royale very low, and Lyra not really nearby to help with the Imperial Sigil for now. So Impunity might be up to find a kill here, or at least the turret. It looks like VV Quiz and Royale going to do their best to defend this one, however.
Well,
that's the minion candies you were talking about.
Yep, minion candies are being popped, and they are... The side of Impunity really just won this first turret.
And we see Court of War going in with the afterburn. They might be able to find the kill onto Quiz, but he's very tanky. They could at least get the turret here, and Blue City is able to. And there's going to be the Chakram coming out, just trying to get Court of War out there alive. Impunity doing a very good job so far to keep the lead in gold, sitting on 16.8 up to 15.2k. It's not much, but it's definitely making the difference right now as they hold the only 2 kills on the match and the first turret of the game. So this is a very different game coming up from Impunity, and maybe we'll be able to see them continue this control over the match that they've had in the early game into the mid and even take the late. So far, we've seen some pretty quick games with Detonation shutting them down really quickly by taking objective after objective. So it is good to see this turnaround from Impunity in the third match.
Yep, but then we do see Tatuki on that Lara did pick up the alternating current as the first item, like you said, and probably working into an Eve of Harvest, if not then Frostburn, just for that extra slow. And generally we did see that on Lyra's in the later part of the game, or rather when Lyra's first released, and generally the Lyra build an alternating current first, probably a Broken Myth into a Frostburn, if not then a Frostburn into Broken Myth. But the side of Impunity is putting up a lot of pressure onto DNG, and I guess this is a really good thing for the side of Impunity. And as you said, they are not really in the back line, in the back seat as of the first 2 games as well, and they are just working all the opportunities that arises for them to push. We do see the Imperial Sigil not healing up as much because honestly, you have the Lyra, you have the little bit more of sustain for your side with the Imperial Sigil, but as CP Lyra, you just really want to use Imperial Sigil as a zoning ability, an ability to zone, if not, then, just provide some sort of sustain.
Yeah, and it looks like Court of War jumping in, just trying to keep them away from Blue City at the moment, who needs to stay on that back line. There's going to be Gauntlet going down by the side of DNG, and they're able to find a kill out of it, but it's going to be Idris on the back line trying to do what he can. Is going to fall in the end, however, and a Glaive, and then it looks like Detonation Gaming looking for more, trying to hunt down Blue City, not letting him get any of his jungle. And I was wondering there, you did see Impunity kind of up in the lane for quite a while, leaving all this jungle untouched. It is good to see Impunity sticking together as a team here, but they might pay the price for it, as Detonation Gaming now able to clear that through, as well as taking that turret away from them and actually stealing the gold lead, now sitting at 21.7k. But DevQ wanting to chase down, does go in with the Shroud Shimmer Strike and is trying to find a kill, but you shouldn't be attacking that Arden. He's not going to go down that easily, and it looks like Lyra are going to be able to pick up their third kill of the match. And right now the scales just got tipped. Detonation Gaming turned back really quickly on them. And I understand DefQ going in. Up to this point, he's been able to really just jump on the targets. But as I said, they need to stick as a team. That's where the power of Impunity lies in these team engagements.
Well, yeah, but we did see they losing one team fight earlier on with Tatuki. Tatuki putting out so much damage on the CP Lyra. And I must say though, it's so weird to put so much damage together in the same sentence as Lyra, because that's generally that's not how it is. But we do see the side of Impunity do respect this Lyra being picked up.
Might be, as they looks like Detonation wanting to go in again, but there's the drifting dart coming out from the Samuel, and they're going to not actually be able to find any of the targets they're looking for. And BB Quiz going to turn around with the answer of a gauntlet, and they're going to jump right onto the Idris being able to clean it up. There's going to be the Oblivion, however, putting Vox to sleep, but I don't know how good that's going to be. As Cordoba making an amazing escape with that afterburn over into the gold miner, and he gets out of it, stopping this push from Detonation a bit more, because it looks like Blue City and Cordoba might be able to regroup to save this turret now.
Well, there is one thing for sure, is that Tatuki is putting in so much work, sitting at 3-1. Cordoba is taken really low.
And not able to find the target he wants with that afterburn, but it looks like Blue City and DefQ now on the chase, and they get BB Quiz very low. It's going to be Interest jumping into that fight, but he needs to find the targeting right. You need to be careful, however. There's the afterburn onto Royale. That might be the chance you're looking for, but BB Royale just getting stronger as the fight goes on with that breaking point, slowly building up those stacks. It's going to be DefQ now jumping onto BB Quiz. He really wants that kill, but is he going to find it? The Vanguard not up right now to save BB Quiz, but the boots are in boxes, still around and kicking, able to save him there. And meanwhile, while that was happening, Samuel actually managed to take out Tatuki in a 1v1 situation. Of course, at the end of the day, you know, a Samuel versus a CP Lyra, this Samuel is going to win.
Well, that's for sure, but I mean, in a group engage when you have Royal just, you know, just backing up this Tatuki, or this Lyra, then of course, I mean, with that weapon damage, with the consistent damage, BB keys do finally go down.
A very nice afterburn in there to help secure the kill. Oblivion's going to go down, but it gets blocked. Will Royale find the support of his teammate? There's the heal, but it's not much. It's more for the speed boost to try get them out there, but they do get afterburned into. But Cordoba overstayed his welcome as Tatuki trying to find the kill there. Doesn't quite have the range, however, and it's going to be DefQ joining the fight, jumping in first. Doesn't focus down Tatuki, however, but Cordoba is still around, and he manages to pick up that kill. Meanwhile, it looks like DefQ not quite able to find the Vox, who has the speed to get out of there. They're going to steal some farm as well as taking that Crystal Sentry back. This match being a lot closer than the previous. You can see gold lead, well, barely any, 28.3k on the side of Detonation over to 27.5k, and they're still holding even objectives at this point. Maybe someone would be looking for that gold mine, however, as it now is full and there's 1 minute until Kraken goes up.
Yep, we do see Tatuki slowly inching for that Eve of Harvest, just for that basic attack sustain. The second basic attack sustain at least. We do see though, Samuel is slowly building up in damage, whereas Tatuki is slowly losing a lot of damage. And I must say, Tatuki's kit as a CP Lyra, it's really just down to Imperial Sigil. So if you do use that for a retreat, a form of retreat, then you might go down really quickly, which we saw a lot of times when Imperial Sigil is used as an engage, if not then a retreat. Whereas if you're going to place Imperial Sigil like when you are as, say, a Celeste, then you will have a chance of winning a lot of team fights, and that's what we saw as well. The amount of damage coming out from Imperial Sigil is very big. It's still a big amount of damage, and that was, I think, brought down Blue City down to from half health down to close to 0 with a basic attack chain into an Imperial Sigil.
It'll also be interesting to see whether they go in with the engage of that Arcane Passage. Right now, Lyra not seeing on much defense, and I think that's the real problem there. You don't want to be jumping into an Idris, especially a Glaive, that could just be real bad positioning. But I do think that they needed something like that, at least in the team comp of Detonation Gaming, for that engage, because right now they are seeing on something that is a bit less with the Gauntlet. However, if timed right, it can end well, which we've seen VB Quiz land some amazing gauntlets so far, and he has the Echo there just in case. But in return to that, Cordovar on the side of Impunity on that Glaive has also picked up the Echo, and I believe a lot of the time it really isn't surprising to see these pro teams and these top tier teams picking up that Echo, because it's just such a team changer when well, I imagine these guys are smart enough to check the scoreboard and items over time to notice it, but it really can be such a shock when they use that ability and they turn around a second time with it. It really can turn the fights around as well.
Definitely. The side of DNG may be looking for a little more than that first tower, with all three posturing around in lane. Oh, Drifting Dark is out from Samuel.
And Cordovar looking for that afterburn. You can see him actually a lot faster than maybe Quiz right now, and the rest of it, Detonation Gaming, because he did pick up those tier 3 journey boots, and so he's really just looking to position himself for that afterburn. This time going to have to use it defensively, however, and it looks like Detonation Gaming is going to get flared out here. The next fight could be so crucial for both the teams, because Kraken is on the line, and we're sitting at almost 17 minutes into the game. You can see Vox getting that infusion ready to fight. And also responding to that, Impunity do have their infusions up. DefQ just going to throw the chakra out, be able to dash away out of it. And it looks like Impunity actually going to back away from this one. I don't think the side of Detonation have the damage right now to go for a Kraken rush, so they definitely have to look for a team fight. But whether they're going to win it is the question. I think it really comes down to the gauntlet coming out of VB Quiz in terms of the engage. But there's going to be Cordovar going in initially. He does get caught out on the Bright Bulwark, however, didn't use the Echo right now, so it means that isn't Impunity's initial engage, because Blue City only joining the team now. But I think if there's going to be a follow-up engage, it's going to be here with Cordovar going in once again with Afterburn. But there's going to be the wait for it. He manages to hit VB Quiz back, wasting that gauntlet. There's going to be the Oblivion trying to help them get away, but Blue City getting caught in there, gets shut down instantly by that Lyra. Cordovar is too low to defend this turret. He has to back off there, as we see DefQ already going back to base, and this could be bad for Impunity. They're down a member, and DNG probably looking for objectives right now. Is very much like Detonation Gaming to be doing this and going for that objectively that they want so badly, because I think then it puts them maybe just in a bear mindset as well, but it definitely helps them out, as we see the portal come out from the side of Detonation, and there's so much damage down. It's going to be Idris on that backline, but he gets picked up by Tatuki. I'm wondering why DefQ on this Idris always jumping onto VB Quiz and not onto a target like Royale or Tatuki, who have no armor at the moment.
Well, yeah, that is one of the big questions as well. But I guess it is down to whether or not you want to prioritize your kills and just immediately take a member down, or you are going to risk it because I mean, Arden has got such good reliability to keep his own team members alive. You have the Vanguard, you have the Blood for Blood to add in any additional damage and finish up damage that your team needs. So I guess that is a mentality going in when DefQ jumps into Arden, tries to take Arden out as fast as possible. But of course, if you're going to do that, then you risk yourself being taken out by the other carries on the side of DNG, and that is not healthy for you or your team as well. So I hope the side of Impunity would prioritize all the carries instead of just going in, like you said, for keys over and over again. We do see Lara picking out that Aegis and of course completing all 3 items as with Blue City on that Samuel, but Blue City do not have any sort of defense against Lyra, probably just looking down on the amount of damage that Lyra is outputting with the Imperial Sigil and of course with the basic attack. Slowly working into a clockwork, I presume, this Blue City.
Yeah, and we see the fight breaking out with the gauntlet going down by VB Quiz, but there's going to be the response coming out. There's double gauntlet, and they're just trapped in there. Looks like Blue City managed to find the arcane passage, however, to get out there, but he's now in a 3v1 situation, having to back off from Detonation Gaming. He has the sustain, but I don't know what he can do in a 3-man fight here. And it looks like he's getting low. He manages to take out the Arden. That's going to be one kill. That is going to be crucial to the push of Detonation. However, it looks like Detonation might just go for this lane instead of a Kraken. And we see Tatuki turning their attention to Kraken. They are going to go for Kraken instead. And they're going to let these A-Star minions push onto that anchor turret of the side of Impunity, which it looks like they're going to do a fair amount of work. There's still 5 seconds until quarter war's up, but it's going to help them with this Kraken push immensely that they definitely have secured. There's no way there's going to be any contest on this one.
Yep, we do see, Quadavor is running straight to Kraken pit. Hopefully can steal that Kraken, but Kraken is so close.
Yeah, and there's going to be the bright bulwark just getting Quadavor not able to move anymore once in there, and they're going to back out there instantly. Actually using that Echo to once again get out. They were worried to not get slowed down by Tatuki on this Lyra. So right now, Impunity on the defense, they still have 3 turrets available. That anchor turret, however, did take a beating. Very low on health right now. And you can see the way Impunity want to pose for this fight, but they have been spotted out. This could be bad. Samuel is going to return to the team and try help them out, but DefQ is going to engage on a 1v1 with Royale. That's soon going to change as VB Quiz jumping in. Their fountain on the side of Impunity is going to be used, and they're going to have to let this first turret drop. They're going to back to their base and then have to just regroup themselves, but they have a full health Kraken and the full team of Detonation Gaming to push off. If they can't do this, it's going to be GG and a 3-0 to Detonation, so they have to pull something out here. And it looks like the gauntlet's going to go down. Lyra's just going to sit there and be able to pick up interest, and meanwhile Samuel's solo, doesn't have time to waste in the base, and Glaive is going to fall to VB Royale and to Tuki. Meanwhile, Quiz still doing work on those objectives, and it looks like this is going to be GG for Detonation Gaming as the Kraken takes the Crystal. And well played there, especially to make a team comp like that work. Detonation Gaming, well done to them. Good job for Impunity in the third match to show a lot of aggression and control into the early game, but Detonation in the end able to take it back and really push out. In the end game, when it mattered, they were able to get that Kraken, which was so crucial to the push.
Yeah, I must say though, there's one big difference that I'm seeing coming out from the build of Vox, and that Vox has built, instead of a tension bow as second item, he instead went for a bone saw. So I'm not sure. It's probably for the extra speed and extra weapon power, but at the end of the day, Excoundrel did the calculations as well, and we have done calculations on Tension Bow versus Bone Saw as item itself, and Tension Bow more than often comes out on top. But I guess Royal just really want to shred the armor for some odd reason, or maybe just increase the attack speed on Vox. Else, I personally would think that, and I guess math quite proves the point, that a Tension Bow is a much better item pickup as compared to Bone Saw. But then again, just looking at the build itself, I like the Bone Saw pickup on DefQ. Only reason is because there's so much armor for DefQ to shred. But when that does happen, then you lack the burst that's provided by a Tension Bow. But anyways, like you said, it is GG. It's well played to both teams. I hope they had fun, because I'm sure both you and I had a blast casting all 3 of this game. Just a quick recap for all the viewers out there. This is a best of 5, and of course we have DNG, Detonation Gaming, picking up 3 games out of this best of 5.
GG, well played to both teams there. And, you know, in the end, it did go over to Detonation. Impunity put up a good fight in that third match, however. But the drafting there, I think, so smart from Detonation as well.
It is definitely just depriving Quatavor of all of his roam and just putting him on that glaive. I think that is a very intelligent draft. No doubt it's peculiar, it is weird, not commonly seen, but at the end of the day, this is the Halcyon Showdown. DNG made it work. Detonation Gaming was just insane. Played very, very well. Rocky at start for the third game. I mean, it is quite expected, especially with Lyra going up against Samuel. So that is all we have for all of you today, for all the viewers out there today. It's a Halcyon Showdown between Impunity and Detonation Gaming. That is all that we have for you guys today. And of course, if I'm not wrong, I request Duo one to sign off with Japanese. So take it away.
ちょっとだけ皆さん今日は楽しんでご覧にいただきありがとうございました。私はアイレクエストドゥとコーカスター、ラクシュラーとテスラクトの皆さんはありがとう。
So I guess that's the end of it, right? Because I heard my IGN. So we'll see all of you very soon.